So how do you balance your work life in the adult industry with your personal life?
Yeah, that's super important to me. It's also a gig industry, right? So there's no guarantee so that helps.
Mm-hmm.
Just having built-in free time. But I have like my little routines. I'm a big outdoors girl, so I make
Mm-hmm.
sure I'm hiking a lot and getting outside. That's a big like mental health stability for me.
Yeah.
Um,
Exercise, physical health, mental health.
yeah, yeah. So I just make sure that I don't lose sight of those. Like I read and I journal every day, and so I just make sure that no matter what I'm doing or like what my day looks like, that I find time for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I tried journaling for a while, and I've done it a few times, and I do it for like 2 weeks and just fall off.
Yeah.
And like recently, I went back and I like read some stuff, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. Like to literally know exactly what I did on a specific day
Mhm.
years ago. I'm like, I should do it more, and I just don't.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be. Maybe I'll have a New Year's resolution for
There you
once in my
go.
life, and I'll mess it up for sure.
That's okay.
So how do you balance the intimacy aspect? How do you balance,
Hmm.
your work career and then your intimate life?
That's an interesting question. I haven't really navigated that much yet.
Mm,
Um, but partly because it seems like a lot to navigate.
yeah.
Yeah. I was on an app for like a minute since I started like in the industry, and
What app are you on?
Field.
I don't even know what that is. Never heard of it.
It's geared more to like the polyamorous community.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, and it's a lot to like logistically it's a lot to juggle because I will get like last minute calls.
Mm,
So like, oh, can you work today? And so then I just feel like it requires a lot of flexibility logistically.
yeah.
And then people have feelings about
Mm.
work in the adult industry, and that can be a lot to navigate too. Like to find somebody who's truly comfortable and
Yeah.
supportive of it. I'm sure they exist, but I think it would take some work. So
Let's ask the people. Could you date a girl in the adult industry or a guy in the adult industry?
yeah,
Do you think before getting or being in the adult industry, could you date someone in the industry?
I think it's less about like in the industry or out the industry, and more about the person. Like that might
Mm,
sound so cliche, but I think it comes down to the connection and the communication and the ability to navigate everything, whether they're in the industry or not.
yeah.
So,
So would you date someone in the industry?
yeah,
It just comes down to like the connection aspect
yeah,
of it all.
absolutely.
It doesn't matter what they do.
No,
So I feel like when I talk to different people, some of them are like very, I'll only date in the industry, and then some are like, I want nothing to do within the
that's
industry.
what I hear as well. That people are usually in those two camps. So I don't know. I guess I'm just a middle ground person.
Yeah, and everyone's reasoning is like, oh, when they say like, oh, that makes sense, and someone says their side of like, I'm like, that makes sense,
Yeah.
and then someone says in the middle, I'm like, that makes sense.
Well, because
You know,
it does.
all
It
the
makes
different
sense
options.
for each person, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's the truth.
That's kind of just life in general, you
Yeah.
know.
It is.
Some stuff might not make sense for one person, but it makes sense for another.
Exactly.